This is Unlawful. You become a judge, you do all this great work. There's so many opportunities between when you were a DA, when you were working at the private law firm, when you became a judge, when you lost your first election, up until today. What is the unlawful moment that really stands out for you? Amongst millions, I'm sure.
Sure. So the very best part for me of being a judge was interacting with juries. And every 2 weeks, 100 new faces came in. And how many people out there get the jury summons, they open it up and they go, oh no. How am I going to get out of this?
Right.
And you think everyone wants to get out of it. And they don't quite understand just how important it is. We know it's important. Attorneys know it's important. Judges know it's important. But to lay it out at the most basic level, we're going through jury duty. I'm telling them why I think they should care. But that's my perspective. Always what's best when you're picking a jury, it's when one of the jurors is doing the work for you.
For sure.
And on this day and on this unlawful moment, that's what happened. And so at the end, we've gone through the process. And I said, now, is there anyone else who won't be able to be here through next week? This trial we knew was going to go into the next week. We were picking on Monday. And this one young man raised his hand and he said, Judge, I want you to understand, I am not trying to get out of jury duty. But if we're going through next week, I'm not going to be able to be there. And I thought to myself, okay, here it comes. Here's the excuse, and it's in front of all the jurors. I kind of prefer them to come up close.
Quietly, right.
Yeah, so that other people aren't getting ideas.
They don't know what works.
Right. Because everyone asks, that's the other thing that everyone asks the judges, like, oh, I have jury duty. How am I going to get out of it? I don't want to.
Right.
You need to do this. So this young man, he raised his hand. I said, okay, well, what's it going to be? I said, okay, why not? He said, because I'm going to be deployed on Friday. And I thought, oh my gosh, well, I'm sorry for thinking bad, first of all.
Right.
But second of all, he's got 5 days left in this country. I said, where are you going to be? Where are you going? He said, I'm going to the Far East. And then another realization, conflict could break out there anytime. So I said to him, so you have 5 days left in this country? And you came to jury duty?
He showed up.
And he said, yes. I said, you could have called ahead and we could have deferred you to when you get back. And he said, no.
Yeah.
Why not? He said, because this is why I go over there to fight for our rights. And one of our rights is the right of a jury trial. And it is that fundamental, Brandon, that it's what separates us from all these other countries in the world. I go down and teach in Latin America, several countries who are trying to adopt our trial system. They don't have it. We take it for granted and want to get out of jury duty. They are dying to have this system that we have. And here's a young man who realizes that the reason that we have this military, there are a lot of reasons to have a military, but one of them is to protect our rights so that we have them at home. And people can't come in and take them from us. And one of them is the right to be judged by your peers. And there's nothing more democratic. We vote for someone who's going to go to Austin or go to DC, and we hope they are going to do what we want them to do. But when you're on the jury, it's your one vote that makes all the difference. And here's this young man. Jurors are going to be done in 6 days. This young man may not be done in 6 months. He may not be in 6 years. He may not ever come back. Every juror's going back home. And it was just a moment where you just went, there's a reason that we're doing this. And it's not just because attorneys want trials. It represents our foundations. And this young man, he was 25. He knew it. In that moment, I said, sir, go ahead and you can go right now. And he got up, and on each side there were the pews and people are sitting, and he walked down the middle and everyone just started clapping for him. And it was just, it makes me tingle now thinking about it.
It's such an interesting thing because I've had some really, really bad juries, and I've had some really, really difficult mock jury moments where I'm watching how juries interact and what they do, and I'm just baffled by the reality of the decision-making process, right? and frustrated by it or whatever. And I've lost cases and I've won cases, and you know, I've gotten in the middle on cases. Everything has happened. And still, when I hear people talk about disparage the jury system and prefer arbitration or want to go to a bench trial because normal people are just so stupid and all of that, right? All of the negative things that are said about jurors, I still tell them that I don't think there's a better way to get a just outcome, even if it's not the outcome that you want.
And you know, for the attorneys, they know the rules of the game. I'm not saying this is a game. You know, okay, some of them aren't even going to have a high school diploma.
Right.
So what are you going to do to put it in terms that they're going to understand? Because by the way, it's not just people without a high school diploma that might not be able to understand the ins and outs of a change order for a new hydraulic process at the plant.
That you've spent 2.5 years learning about.
Exactly. It's on you to figure out how to reach them and persuade them. And they take it so seriously. That's what I found out. It's not about their diplomas and how many they do or don't have. They're going to listen to what you tell them, and they're going to take this so seriously. And I found very few juries. Maybe the jury on the whole is always going to be good, but maybe one or two wouldn't. But they are listening to the evidence, and they're going to make their decision on the evidence. The question isn't, were they not good enough or smart enough to understand it? It's, were you good enough to show them your case?
Yeah, right.
And so if we understand it from that perspective, it's the jury is not the problem. It's the attorneys that are complaining about the juries. Stop talking and start acting. Go figure out how to persuade.
It's like comedians who blame the crowd, right? Right. You know what I mean? It's the exact same thing. But look, I'm gonna let you go. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's been a real pleasure. Hey, good luck. Let's have a great 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Unlawful.